In a small village nestled between rolling hills and vast open fields, there lived a little boy named Arjun. His home was humble, a thatched roof, cracked walls, and a dirt floor that bore the marks of many seasons. Yet despite the simplicity and the hardship that surrounded him, Arjun's eyes sparkled with a quiet determination and hope that belied his circumstance. Arjun's family was poor. His father worked as a laborer, toiling from sunrise to sunset for a few coins, while his mother managed the household with resourcefulness and grace, stretching every meal as far as she could. Arjun and his younger sister shared a single tattered blanket, and their toys were stones and sticks shaped by imagination. Each day, Arjun walked barefoot along the dusty road to the village school, his feet toughened by the earth but his spirit lightened by the promise of learning. School was more than a place of education for Arjun. It was a sanctuary. He listened intently to his teacher, soaking up every word, every lesson. His notebooks were filled not only with assignments but also with dreams, drawings of inventions, stories of adventures, and sketches of a life he longed to live. But the path was never easy. Many days, Arjun arrived at school hungry, his stomach growling in protest. Sometimes, he couldn't afford the small fee for textbooks, and he had to borrow from friends or copy notes by candlelight late into the night. Despite these challenges, Arjun never complained. Instead, he saw every obstacle as a test, a chance to prove his resilience. He would wake up before dawn to help his mother fetch water, carrying heavy pots with steady hands. He helped his father in the fields, learning the value of hard work and the dignity that came with it. At night, when his friends played outside, Arjun studied by the fading light, determined to rise above the limitations imposed by poverty. One day, the school announced a scholarship competition. The winner would receive free tuition, books, and even a bicycle, a luxury that seemed almost magical to Arjun. The contest required students to write an essay on the theme of perseverance. Arjun's heart raced with excitement and nervousness. He knew that this was his chance, but he also knew the competition would be fierce. Many of his classmates came from wealthier families, with access to tutors and resources he could only dream of. Undeterred, Arjun poured his soul into his essay. He wrote about the struggles of his daily life, the sacrifices his parents made, and the importance of never giving up. He described how hope could bloom even in the harshest soil, and how dreams could lift a person above their circumstances. When he finished, he handed in his essay with trembling hands but a hopeful heart. Days passed, and Arjun waited anxiously for the results. He continued his routine, helping at home, studying hard, and refusing to let doubt creep into his mind. Finally, the day arrived when the principal called the students together to announce the winner. Arjun's heart pounded as he listened, his breath shallow and uncertain. The principal smiled and called out Arjun's name. The crowd erupted in applause, and Arjun's eyes filled with tears. Tears of joy, relief, and gratitude. For the first time, he felt the weight of his perseverance rewarded. The scholarship was not just a financial blessing, it was a symbol of hope. A confirmation that hard work and determination could indeed change one's destiny. With the scholarship, Arjun's world began to shift. He could now afford textbooks and uniforms. The bicycle gave him the freedom to explore beyond his village, to see places he had only imagined. His confidence grew, and so did his dreams. He excelled in his studies, often staying late at school to help his classmates who struggled. Arjun became a role model, inspiring others with his story of grit and resilience. But life was not without further challenges. As Arjun progressed to higher grades, the subjects became more difficult and the pressures increased. Sometimes, he felt overwhelmed and exhausted. There were moments of doubt when failure seemed inevitable. Yet each time, he remembered the lessons of his childhood, the lessons his parents had taught him, and the promise he had made to himself. Arjun would take long walks in the fields, talking to himself, reminding himself that setbacks were temporary and that giving up was never an option. He recalled the words of his mother, "When you feel like stopping, remember why you started." Those words became his mantra, echoing in his mind whenever he faced a hurdle. Years passed, and Arjun's perseverance led him to remarkable achievements. He graduated from school with top honors and earned a place at a prestigious university. The journey was long and often lonely, but he carried the spirit of his village and the love of his family with him. At university, He faced new challenges: language barriers, financial constraints, and the competitive environment. Yet his resolve remained unbroken. Arjun took odd jobs to support himself, from washing dishes to tutoring younger students. He was never ashamed of his work, knowing that every effort was a step toward his dream. He made friends who admired his dedication and professors who encouraged his curiosity. Arjun's story began to spread, inspiring others who faced their own battles. Eventually, Arjun completed his studies and returned to his village, not as the poor little boy who once walked barefoot to school, but as a young man filled with wisdom and courage. He used his knowledge to help his community, starting programs to support education and empower children from poor families. Arjun's journey became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that greatness is not determined by where you start, but by how you persevere. The message of Arjun's life is simple but profound: never give up. No matter how tough the road, no matter how heavy the burden, persistence can turn impossibility into reality. Dreams may seem distant and obstacles may appear insurmountable, but with determination and faith, every challenge can be overcome. So when you feel defeated, remember Arjun, the boy who refused to surrender, who turned hardship into opportunity, and whose story proves that with enough courage and perseverance, anything is possible. The journey may be long and the path may be steep, but giving up is never the answer. Keep moving forward, hold on to hope, and trust that every step brings you closer to the life you imagine. Let Arjun's story inspire you to rise above your circumstances and chase your dreams, no matter how impossible they may seem.